You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Rizzoli Isles After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Rizzoli Isles After Show.
God, I love that music. It's just the song makes me happy.
It does.
Hey, everybody, Bing is for doing, and what are we doing? Well, we're doing another Rizzoli Isles after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. It's season 4, episode 10, Built for Speed. I'm Krisily Kennedy, and today, talking about the Rizzoli and the Isles and everything in between is...
Tiona Hobson. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing good. I wasn't here last week because
No.
I was away, and I just had to, of course, say that I know that I'm sure you guys talked about it last week, but the death of Lee Thompson Young, it's hit everyone really hard. Definitely kind of a little tough to watch this week.
Yeah.
Just I almost couldn't get into the episode as much because I couldn't get past that he's not here anymore, and it's sad, and all I can say is that you never know, and we can't judge and point fingers because just because they seem to have everything doesn't mean that they're not happy inside. So let's try not to judge and be happy that he is in a better place. But let's get into the episode.
Okay.
Built for Speed, drag racing. I am going to sadly admit that I've definitely been in the passenger seat for a drag race or 5.
Oh my gosh. Have you really?
I have.
Or 5?
Or 5 or 10.
Oh my.
Or 12.
And you're here to talk about
I
it.
am. I am. And I was a little excited to know what they were talking about when they were talking about nitrous oxide. And I was like, yeah, that's what makes you go fast.
And then I'm over here like, oh, I haven't watched a Fast and the Furious movie since the first one, so I have no idea what they're talking about.
Oh, girl,
right
you're
now.
missing out. You're missing out because Fast and Furious 6, whew. All right. Well, I digress. I do that a lot. But
it was awesome.
thank you. See, thank you. You're missing
All
out,
right,
girl.
I'll have to go
You're
see
missing
it.
out. But luckily, all of my car racing antics came a lot better than this one because a car explodes in this one, and we lose the driver, obviously, who we find out it's always funny to me how they bring back characters, and to see Giovanni back tonight and to find out that he's into drag racing.
I feel like he's that character who they bring in at the most random times to be involved in the most random things. Because when was the last time we saw him?
Like a long time
Yeah.
ago.
And then when the episode started, I saw him and I was like, was that Giovanni? No, that wasn't Giovanni. And then, it kept going back. I was like, what the hell is he doing here? And then at one point I thought he was going to be the killer. I went back to, hey, the first person I saw was Giovanni.
And we thought that the last time he was in the episode too, we thought he was going to be the killer because so close to the family, they knew him forever. Giovanni's that kind of guy that you just want to hit him upside the head every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah, and he's always at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Or at the right place at the right time because he got video tonight.
Got video tonight, yes.
But he's so easily manipulated by Jane, which I just laugh because she has to dumb it down for him and make it so, well, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And it's just that total typical girl over guy thing. But we find out his name is Alberto Santana, and he is a mechanic who's married and pregnant and very close to this family, but he has a history of violence.
And car theft.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was working at a mechanic's kind of made me a little concerned at first, but then you find out
Way
that
to go,
it's
parole officer. Way to go.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what kind of parole officer is going to let you
Yeah.
do this? But then, it's his father-in-law's company. He has someone there at least watching him to make sure that he stays on the right path because clearly his father-in-law doesn't want his daughter involved with someone who doesn't have their crap together. So,
and they painted him to really be on the straight and narrow and trying to do the right thing and be a good dad and husband. And when we meet his wife and she tells us that, you know, he's been doing so great, but he's been stressed this last week. And I thought it was just the baby. It kind of starts to all. I then think that he's back into his old ways.
That's what I thought.
I totally didn't go to anything else. I was like, nope, once bad, always bad, which so isn't the truth. So bad of me to judge. But they figure out through the BT, who we'll talk about BT when we get to the next part, but we figure out through BT that the nitrous oxide tank was actually filled with propane.
Yeah.
That's not going to make your car go faster.
No, that's going to make it go kaboom.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it did.
It did. And then they took the car apart and they rebuilt things and they figured out that it was actually, it wasn't when, because we both thought it was when he switched gears that it exploded, but they find out that it was a detonator, which was similar to the detonator that they used in the Boston Marathon shootings, which I thought was interesting that they brought that up.
Yeah, that was... I mean, it's not that it's soon, but, you know, it was nice that they kind of touched on it to...
Yeah.
You know, because it is Boston where this is based, so it's like at some point you do need to kind of incorporate that into your story.
And at first I thought they were talking about the Boston Marathon shootings on their show.
Yeah.
But those were actual shootings. That was a person. That wasn't, right?
Yeah, that was an actual shooting.
Right.
And not a bomb.
Detonation.
Yeah,
Okay.
a detonation.
I was a little confused. I was like, wait, are they talking about, are they not talking about? I was a little confused. So thank you for helping me figure that out. Giovanni also comes back and is able to give them the second driver, who his name, none of them have real names. When we drag raced, we all had our own names.
So you were Krisily.
Well, I was just the passenger. I wasn't the driver. But like my friend John, who was the driver, he was John. He didn't have some weird name. Maybe it's
because there was drugs involved.
Yeah, there were no drugs involved.
Yeah, see, it's once you get the drugs involved with the racing, then you get all these weird nicknames because no one needs to know who you actually are.
And I'm not by any way, shape, or form endorsing drag racing, guys, because it's so not safe. But just admitting to a fault. So then they find out that there's drugs involved, and how they find out is because when they get the video, Martinez is in the video. So he saw this guy die, knows that they're doing this at the precinct, and doesn't tell anyone.
And he saw Jane that morning.
He's super shady.
Before she even went to the crime scene, she had an interaction with him when Frankie was bringing that guy in.
And he's super shady.
He's super shady, but then he also can make your heart kind of swirl a little bit.
Whose heart swirls? Yours?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know how Jane wouldn't look at him because she was going to smile. I kind of felt the same way. Just me. I don't know. It's the bad boy. It's the bad boy. I don't know. But I also don't trust him as far as I could throw him, which probably is not very far because I'm kind of weak in the arms.
I don't know. I think you could take him. But then they go and find the Mustang, and they find the cayenne. What was it that they found? Cayenne pepper.
Pepper and what was the other?
I want to say garlic so bad it's not garlic.
And I wanted to say bath salts. That's really wrong.
Then it would be a really twisted episode. But it was cayenne pepper and something else so that the drug dogs wouldn't sniff the drugs. We're learning so much on this episode.
And the fact that the trap only worked with the doors closed because they had the doors open when they found the pepper and everything in the car.
It was like, turn the left blinker on, put the car in park, put the I was
like, is this the Addams family house right now? Like all these secret passages in a
gadget car.
Yeah.
That
was kind of cool. I kind of want my car to have something like that, except I wouldn't have drugs or anything like that in it. It would be purely like, it would be so boring. It'd be like my insurance card. I get pulled over and the cop would be like, can I see your proof of insurance? And I'd be like, hang on 1 second, and be like double tapping the dashboard and everything.
then you get arrested.
Yeah.
And then your mom's advice would come in handy.
Exactly.
Perfect. So Martinez and Jane, they decide that they're gonna, now that they've realized that their cases are completely linked, that they're going to try to work together, and whosever case kind of trumps, that two will do the arrest. And while they're in the car together, obviously they see the meth. Like bath salts, kind of, not really.
Kind of.
I mean, we were on the same page.
If you crush up the bath salts,
maybe
a little bit, yeah.
Sure. You can tell we do drugs. We are a non-drug after show.
Drug-free is the way to be.
Yes. And so obviously Martinez gets the arrest, but then of course because they're drug ring, of course they have lawyers, and of course they get bail instantly. But while they're figuring out how to delay his bail, they figure out how to find the second killer.
This is where I got a little confused.
Well, because it was Jorge, right?
Yes.
Jorge was not the killer.
No, he
was the drug
smuggler. He was the guy who started the race, right?
Right.
Okay.
So what I'm assuming is that because I got a little lost as well. So if you're on chat roll, by the way, we love you. I'm not on chat roll because I forgot my computer. Marissa maybe. So if she is, say hi. And if you guys can help us, what ends up happening is the parole officer is the person they bring in, because she is the one who is the only link to all these guys. So she's kind of the one that's kind of heading this whole thing up. So I'm assuming she's the one that had to detonate.
Okay, that's what I picked up. But why was she there? Well, I guess because it's her drugs. That's why she was there. Because it was like they had her unlock the car and then lock the car, and the unlock like poked the hole in the propane, and then the lock made it go kaboom.
And she had to have been aware of it all because she was kind of the boss.
Okay.
So it was her that must have detonated it.
So it was Jorge, Alberto, and then her who all were connected. Okay. Now it makes
girls
sense.
go to drag races.
I mean, I kind of felt like Maura when she said that, she felt bad because she was shocked that it was a girl who was running the drug ring.
She clearly doesn't watch Fast and Furious either.
I mean, I don't either. So I was like, oh, wow. I was kind of shocked that it was a girl, too. I was looking for a guy to be the one involved, especially the guy, all these other tough guys who are around. I definitely expected a male to be the ringleader of this, but to find out it was a woman.
But that's why she got away with it for so long, because she was a woman. It's like they're going to check a car with a bunch of guys in it before they're going to check a girl parole officer's car coming back.
And that parole officer thing really is a good, safe job that no one's really going to be.
Well, she was smart because she knew she needed convicts. She knew she needed guys that knew how to be sleazy and guys that would work for money. And, I mean, she was smart. She wanted to run drug trafficking. She became a parole officer to find her next employees. Smart.
Very smart.
Not so smart in the end.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you should stop when you start killing people.
And if she hadn't killed Alberto, she probably would have.
Because they said Alberto went to her when he figured out that something shady was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the only person he reported it to, you tell him, hey, we have people looking into it. I alerted the authorities. Hopefully they'll crack down on it.
And you're dead.
And then you just kind of leave it alone because Alberto's not really going to question you anymore about it. He could have lived. You could have lived and kept doing your drugs. Dealing.
Well, if he had gone to someone else, then she would have gotten caught.
Then she would have gotten caught.
So you're dead.
Oh.
I also have to say, before we get into, my favorite part of the show, is that AfterBuzz TV creators, Miriam Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, if you haven't heard yet, created an amazing movie called The Adventures of Serial Buddies with a fantastic cast, and it is absolutely hysterical. And I say this all the time because it's the only way I can describe it that most people understand. It's like Dexter meets Dumb and Dumber. And it's the perfect balance of both, which Dexter is my favorite. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. And it's out, so grab it. Netflix, Amazon, iTunes. Pretty sure you can get it everywhere at this point. So download, watch, and then tell us how much you enjoyed it. I'm going to talk about BT first.
Oh, yes.
Because Maura has some bad luck with men. The last guy she dated was a serial killer.
That's a little bit more than just bad luck with men when you date a serial killer.
Now, if he's Dexter, it's not that bad luck because he only kills bad people.
That's very true.
But this guy, not okay.
No.
Not okay.
I hope BT's not a serial killer.
Well, he's a police officer, so that'd be a really good cover if he was.
It would be, just like the parole officer was. I mean,
yeah.
You never know.
And so she's had some really bad luck. So BT's the cute bomb squad guy who... The first thing he catches her doing is putting the dead man's fingers on her hands to get fingerprints. And, of course, she thinks he's going to freak out, but he totally appreciates it.
They're so nerdy together. He's the only person who would find that remotely interesting and attractive. that she's actually doing it and be like excited, like, hey, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to see this stuff.
I thought it was super exciting. Creepy girl right here. I was so excited. I was like, wait, they're gonna do what? Because when she showed the glove and I saw the fingers, I was like, why do her hands look like that? Like she needs a manicure. And then when I realized that it was his fingers, I was like, that is brilliant. Brilliant, because he was burned, so you can't get a lot of fingerprints from that. So she had to do that thing again where she put the, because they've used that once before, and her mom was the one who taught her how to do it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Remember?
That her mom taught her that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But BT and Maura are the two geekiest people I've ever seen.
They're so perfect for each other that I'm just ready next week. They need to have a wedding already. That's how fast this relationship is moving in my mind.
But it's Rizzoli Isles,
It's
so we
Rizzoli
won't see him
Isles.
for 3 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hate to
We'll
break it to
see you next season.
Yeah, we'll see BT next season. But they were, and they talked the same, and I loved that Jane laughed because neither one of them liked to guess. Like, it was super cute.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope that we see BT again.
Yeah.
For Maura's sake.
He's the male version of Maura.
He totally is. Which I wonder if that's going to get boring.
It might, but for right now, because their interests are in two different things, I feel like they're both learning from one another. So that's what keeps it exciting, even though they're both super nerds.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Boston's come out. Wicked smart. And then we have Jane, who has no guys, and now all of a sudden has 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Martinez is a big flirt. And I kind of.
How do you not see through that?
I see through it, and I know he's bad news, and that you shouldn't go for that guy.
And that's
but
what
there's
makes you
still
want
something so intriguing. Like, I want to just see them together, but I don't because I love Casey.
That's like sacrilegious.
I know I love Casey, and I don't want them to break up. And I think Martinez is a horrible person. But maybe we could get like a fantasy or a flashback again to when they were working together and get a little bit more of their chemistry and why it is the sexual tension between them. It's just applying. It's double time.
I just can't understand. Like, would she really let Casey go for Martinez?
No, you don't let Casey go for that.
No. I mean, Casey put her through some shush.
Some stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Put her through it. The ringer, like, just left and didn't come back, and now he's gone again, and she's alone, and all she has is Skype. And I mean, I like relationships where people travel because it brings excitement and spontaneity into it. But this Martinez is really getting under her skin, and what kills me is that, like, he's such the 3rd grade boy that's like pulling her pigtails and then kissing her. Like, I don't understand, because he's super mean to her in front of all the guys, and then he tries to be super smooth when they're alone. And, like, as an outsider, I look at it and I'm like, oh God, like, you can see him coming from 12 miles away and screaming trouble and just a sucker on her forehead.
Yeah, and I think she's aware of it. You know, when they were at the diner, she kept telling him, you know, like, stop, don't do that. And he's like, oh, what? What am I doing? She's like, you know what you're doing right now. And then when they were in the car again, he was trying to stare at her and she wouldn't stare back. So I think Jane's aware and knows that he's bad news and to stay away. But at the same time, Casey's not there. And so it's kind of nice to have the attention.
Yeah.
And she's using that and just playing with it. But you're also playing with fire. So you
For
never know
sure.
when that flame's going to just jump and you're screwed.
I kept trying to super analyze it because my mind was all over the place. But I felt like, so we've seen Jane all these seasons be this strong person, and we know that she has her weaknesses, and we know that she has her vulnerabilities. But when I see her with Martinez, I see 2 separate things. At one point, I see totally relatable. We've all been there. Mm-hmm. There's that guy that we know is trouble and not good for us, and we're just like, oh, really? You like my hair? But then at the same time, I see it totally out of character for what they've built on Jane. Like, when I see Jane's character and who she's been through all these seasons, I feel like this relationship is completely out of character for what they've built her up to be.
Maybe that's because when she met Martinez, when they were working together, maybe this is the person who she was with him. And then because of what happened between them back then is why she became like the closed off, very like straight path type of woman when it came to relationships.
And we still don't know what happened,
Yeah,
right?
we still don't know what fully happened. We got a glimpse into their past, but I feel like there's more, and we could learn from it.
I think that we should learn from it, Rizzoli Isles. So I know you're listening because you have to listen. Because why wouldn't you?
We give you all the new plot points right
I
here.
mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be listening. So if you are listening, we would like to know what happened really with Martinez. I feel like it's important to know at this point because I feel like he's been around long enough that now they have to start giving us the backstory.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a crime that comes up that relates to something they solved together years ago, and it'll bring up all these old feelings, and
then Casey will surprise her and come back right when they're in the middle of discussing their feelings.
ooh,
That was a good prediction.
that'd be a really good prediction. Really good. We didn't see much of Mama Rizzoli tonight, but we did see that clearly she and the captain are still talking, I guess we could say.
Yeah. It was kind of, I think this was the first time we saw him since he found out about how his family was actually killed by,
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now, but you know who I'm talking about.
Patty Doyle.
And so maybe he's been away for a while and it's like still kind of awkward between them because he's still dealing with his feelings on, you know, the new information about his family from all those years ago.
Yeah.
But it was
because there was
cute.
definitely awkwardness.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just because they're at work.
So they're trying to keep it on the DL.
Because you're not supposed to date people that you work with.
This is true.
You listening? You're not supposed to date people that you work with.
You're not supposed to, but sometimes it's more fun that way.
Well, of course it's more fun, which is why you're not supposed to. And then when it goes bad, it gets real bad. Which I have a feeling is why Jane and Martinez are having so many problems.
She even says, you know, we work together. Stop. So
yeah, he said we don't have to work together.
he did say that, and that's
He's
when
a punk.
that's when I was like, ooh, we don't? Okay.
Well, they don't. I mean, she's in
Yeah.
homicide, he's in drugs.
So
But whatever. You guys, if you are listening, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. We love to read all your comments. But if you're listening to us on podcast, we hope it's through iTunes. Go to iTunes, rate and comment. Please give us 5 stars because it makes us real happy when you do. And we love to read your comments and questions. So please keep them coming. And it helps us keep bringing you the show.
very good.
I know Jen is not here this week, and she usually does news and gossip, but I have a little birdie told me that the news and gossip would still be here thanks to you.
I got it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, I wanted to start with sorry, I gotta get my papers together. Angie
She's
Harmon.
official.
I am. Angie Harmon did an interview for More magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It's their 15th anniversary issue. And in the article, she talks about how she's a liberal Republican in Hollywood, which is very rare. And she's like, yes, we do exist out here. And she also speaks out on her opinions on the whole gay marriage standpoint. She says, whether we're gay or straight, it doesn't matter. We're all women. We all have the same wonderful situations happening to us, the same horrific situations. We all get our hearts broken. So I thought that was very beautiful that you can see like everyone thinks that Hollywood's so liberal and everyone's Democrat, and then the Republicans who speak out are always getting kind of, just yelled at by everyone because it's so rare to see. So I thought she put it very eloquently, and that she did a great job in this interview. You can read more about it in the issue of More magazine.
She looks smoking on the cover of that.
Yeah,
by
she
the
also
way.
looks really, really hot.
Yeah.
She's got a little bedhead going on, and I'm a fan of the bedhead.
It's sexy.
Yeah, it's sexy. It
It's
works
sexy.
on her. And then into a little bit of sadder news. Lee Thompson-Young, the cast and crew of Rizzoli Isles last Friday had a memorial service for him on the Paramount lot, and apparently it was a beautiful ceremony where all his friends and families came out. A bunch of people were speaking about him, and everyone had such positive things to say. Angie Harmon broke down in tears while she was talking, made it hard for everyone to watch or to listen to. Jordan Bridges, who plays Frankie, also spoke and talked about how excited he was when he started working with Lee. They both shared a passion for martial arts, and they were really into it. So they had a very good connection and became good friends through that. Sean Levy, who directed the famous Jackson, was also in attendance there. And it was a very good celebration of his life and his memory and his legacy. His family is requesting that fans and friends make a donation to the Young Storytellers Foundation in his honor. You can make your donation by going to www.youngstorytellers.com. And yeah, so make sure you go on and do that in honor of Lee's life. And such an integral part of this story and this whole family here. I couldn't find anything, but I'm assuming that as of right now, production's still on hold.
It was on hold for a week.
Yeah, it was on hold all last week. Don't know if they're back.
Yeah.
I hope they're back to work by
I'm
now.
very curious as to how it, or if it will be addressed, or if because of the nature of it, it will just not.
Maybe
And they'll just move on.
Yeah, maybe they'll just have him kind of, he transferred.
Yeah, because I feel like even at that point, the cast of the show, they are a family, and having to discuss it and bring it up would be really hard and emotional for them.
Yeah.
So, and I love that they made a celebration and that no one in that camp is focusing on the negative or the gossipy side of it, because it can be brutalized pretty quickly. So, thank you for your news and gossip.
You're welcome.
It's so hard, predictions. So hard. This is the hardest show.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What are your predictions, Tiona?
I predict that in 2 weeks I'll see BT again.
Okay.
That him and Maura will eventually start dating. I'm also going to predict that. What did I see for the preview for next week? I had a good prediction. What are your predictions?
Someone's gonna die.
Oh, okay.
Someone's gonna die, and Rizzoli Isles are gonna work together to find the bad guy.
I'm actually kind of hoping that they don't find the bad guy, and we get a to be continued into the next week. Sometimes I feel like they have this whole story, and then the end is so rushed to put it together, because I look at the timer, like we only have 8 minutes left in this episode. How are they going to wrap this up?
And they tie it up.
And it's a little too fast, and
we both got lost tonight.
You get lost. So I would like to see a to be continued, just so that I can actually.
We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get one soon. I can honestly say that I do not remember the previews. It was terrible. I do not remember what's going to happen. But someone's going to die.
Someone's going to die.
Tiona, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Krisily. Thank you for joining us for another Rizzoli Isles after show here on AfterBuzz TV. We'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.